How does the physiological response of goosebumps work? Polydactyly is a condition where individuals have more than 5 fingers on each hand. Are you familiar with this condition and its causes? Did you know that skin is the body's largest organ? How much saliva does the average person produce each day? Did you know that your thumbs have their own pulse? Have you ever wondered what causes the satisfying sound of cracking your knuckles? Please be sure to watch the video all the way through before we begin. Let's get started. Did you know that on a genetic level, all human beings are more than 99% identical? That's right, despite our differences on the outside, humans are 99.9% genetically similar to one another. This is because of the 3 billion genetic building blocks that make us living things, only a handful are uniquely ours. So next time you look at someone who seems different from you, remember that on a genetic level, we're all more alike than we are different. Did you know that your heart can sync to the rhythm when you listen to music? That's right, music has a small yet positive impact on heart health. Listening to music may enable people to exercise longer during cardiac stress testing done on a treadmill or stationary bike, improve blood vessel function by relaxing arteries. Did you know that your thumbs have their own pulse? That's right, just like the rest of your body, your thumbs have a blood supply and a pulse. The reason for this is because there's a big artery in the thumb, the princeps pollicis artery, and arteries pulse. In fact, medical professionals are trained to take a pulse with their middle and index finger instead of their thumb. This is because the pulse in their own thumb can interfere with feeling the pulse in the patient's neck. Did you know that skin is the body's largest organ? That's right, skin is not just a covering for our bodies, it's actually an organ, just like our heart, lungs, and liver. In fact, skin can comprise up to 15% of a person's total weight. Skin has many important functions. It protects our internal organs from injury and infection, helps regulate our body temperature, and allows us to feel sensations like touch and temperature. Skin is made up of several layers, each with its own unique function. The outermost layer is called the epidermis and it provides a barrier against the environment. The next layer is the dermis, which contains blood vessels, nerves, and hair follicles. The innermost layer is the subcutaneous tissue, which provides insulation and cushioning. Did you know that the pineal gland, which secretes the hormone melatonin, got its name from its shape? That's right, the pineal gland is a small endocrine gland in the brain of most vertebrates and is responsible for producing melatonin, a hormone that modulates sleep patterns in both circadian and seasonal cycles. The shape of the gland resembles a pine nut, which gives it its name. Melatonin plays an important role in regulating our sleep-wake cycle and helps us to feel sleepy at night. Did you know that hair grows fast, at an average rate of about 6 inches per year? However, the growth rate of hair varies from individual to individual depending on their age, genetic predisposition and a number of environmental factors. Have you ever felt your cheeks turn red when you're embarrassed or nervous? That's called blushing, and it's caused by a rush of adrenaline. Blushing is a product of the sympathetic nervous system. Did you know that your brain can be more active when you're asleep than when you're awake? During sleep, the brain goes through several stages, including both non-rapid eye movement, NREM, and rapid eye movement, REM, sleep. During REM sleep, the brain is very active and the electrical activity is similar to when we are awake. This is the stage of sleep where we have vivid dreams. The brain is also active during NREM sleep, particularly during the deep slow wave stage, which is the most restful and restorative stage of sleep. Brain activity during sleep is vital for brain health and for solidifying memories. Did you know that if the blood vessels of an adult were laid end to end, they would circle the Earth's equator 4 times? Blood vessels are a vast system of elastic tubes made of muscle that carry blood to every part of your body. They ensure that your heart, lungs, and all vital organs get the oxygen and nutrients they need. Did you know that your body gives off a tiny amount of light? That's right, past research has shown that the body emits visible light, 1,000 times less intense than the levels to which our naked eyes are sensitive. This light is produced by chemical reactions within the body, which liberate energy and produce heat, as well as emitting small numbers of photons, elementary particles of light. Did you know that the average person loses about 4 kilograms of skin cells every year? That's right, the skin is constantly renewing itself, with old cells dying and being replaced by new ones. In 1 year, a person will shed close to 12 million cells, which adds up to more than 8 pounds, 3.6 kilograms, of dead skin. Did you know that the average person has 67 different species of bacteria in their belly button? That's right, according to a study published in the journal PLOS One, researchers enlisted 66 men and women to swab their belly buttons with a Q-tip and found that the average navel contains 67 different species of bacteria. Did you know that the human heart beats more than 3 billion times in an average lifespan? That's right, the average resting heart rate for adults ranges from 60 to 100 beats per minute. Based on the global average life expectancy of 72.6 years, and assuming an average heart rate of 80 beats per minute, the human heart would beat approximately 3,039,379, 200 times in an average lifespan. Did you know that the extraocular muscles in your eyes are the body's fastest muscles? These muscles are responsible for moving your eyes in different directions and allowing them to flick in the same direction in a single 50 millisecond movement. The extraocular muscles are located within the orbit, but are extrinsic and separate from the eyeball itself. There are 7 extraocular muscles, 4 recti muscles, 2 oblique muscles, and levator palpebrae superioris. These muscles work together to control eye movement and allow us to quickly focus on objects in our environment. Did you know that there are tumors known as teratomas, which can grow their own teeth and hair? That's right, a teratoma is a tumor made up of several different types of tissue, such as hair, muscle, teeth, or bone. Teratomata typically form in the ovary, testicle, or coccyx. These tumors are usually benign but can sometimes be cancerous. Did you know that your small intestine is taller than you and measures about 23 feet? That's right, the length of the small intestine can vary greatly, from as short as 3 meters, 10 feet, to as long as 10.5 meters, 34.5 feet, depending on the measuring technique used. On average, the small intestine is about 5 meters, 18 feet, long and folds many times to fit in the abdomen. The small intestine plays an important role in digestion and absorption of nutrients from food. Did you know that your mouth produces about 1 liter of saliva each day? That's right, on average, a healthy person produces about 1 to 2 liters of saliva per day. Saliva production is usually highest in the late afternoon and lowest at night. Saliva plays an important role in our bodies. It helps with digestion, lubrication, and protection of the oral mucosa. Did you know that newborns typically won't shed any tears because their tear ducts are still developing after birth? That's right, most babies start crying tears around 2 weeks of age, but some little ones can take longer to develop the ducts, usually by the age of 2 months. Did you know that the largest cell in the human body is an egg, or ovum? That's right, the egg cell, or ovum, is the female reproductive cell, or gamete, in most anisogamous organisms. The human ovum measures approximately 120 m, 0.0047 in diameter and is barely visible to the naked eye. Have you ever heard of the term pregnancy brain? Pregnancy brain refers to the feelings of forgetfulness, inattention, and mental fogginess that some women experience during pregnancy and sometimes after birth. While pregnancy brain is a common complaint, not all studies support the idea that people experience decreased cognitive ability during pregnancy. Some researchers believe that these brain changes help make expectant parents better prepared for the rigors of caring for a newborn, for example, by improving their abilities to cope with stress while being more attuned to their infant's needs. Did you know that the knee is the largest joint in your body? That's right, the knee joint is a modified hinge joint, a type of synovial joint, which is composed of 3 functional compartments. The patellofemoral articulation consists of the patella, or kneecap, and the patellar groove on the front of the femur through which it slides. The medial and lateral tibiofemoral articulations link the femur, or thigh bone, with the tibia, the main bone of the lower leg. The knee helps you stand, move and keep your balance. Have you ever wondered why we get goosebumps? Goosebumps are a physiological response that evolved in our ancestors as a defense mechanism. When our ancestors, who had more body hair than we do now, were threatened by predators, the muscles around their hair follicles would contract, causing their hair to stand up. This would make them appear larger and more intimidating to potential threats. This reflex is still present in humans today, even though we have less body hair. We get goosebumps when we're cold, scared, or experiencing strong emotions. Did you know that a man produces more than 500 billion sperm cells in his entire lifetime? That's right, the average male will produce roughly 525 billion sperm cells over a lifetime and shed at least 1 billion of them per month. Sperm cells are the male reproductive cells, or gametes, and are responsible for fertilizing the female egg cell to create new life. Have you ever had a sudden attack of hiccups? Hiccups occur due to a disturbance in the nerve pathways from the brain to the muscles involved. This explains why hiccups may occur with temperature changes or emotional situations. It is also the reason that a sudden shock can sometimes abolish an attack. Did you know that information can travel along nerves at a speed of about 400 kmph? That's right, signals travel at the speed of 400 kmph along an alpha motor neuron in the spinal cord, the fastest such transmission in the human body. Neurons, which carry motor impulses from the central nervous system to specific effectors, are motor neurons. Have you ever met someone with more than 5 fingers on each hand? This condition is called polydactyly, and it occurs in about 1 in 1,000 births in the general population. But it's found more frequently in the African American population, occurring in 1 in 150 births. Polydactyly tends to run in families and may also result from genetic mutations or environmental causes. Have you ever wondered what causes the satisfying sound of cracking your knuckles? For a long time, many people attributed the noise to nitrogen bubbles either forming or collapsing in the joint fluid. Others thought it came from the movement of the ligaments around the knuckle. In 2015, researchers used an MRI to watch knuckles while they were cracked. They found that a cavity formed due to the negative pressure created when the joint was pulled apart quickly. They determined that the sound was made by the formation of the cavity. However, this couldn't explain the loudness of the sound. A 2018 study suggested that the sound was actually caused by the partial collapse of the cavity.